Right, finally after what could I say, a crazy busy week, I finally get a chance to sit down and do a bloody podcast. Right, here we go, plenty to talk about today. Let's go. Welcome back once again, guys, to the Moor Army podcast. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of the day it is you're listening to this podcast. Hope you're all keeping well out there. Welcome back to another episode of the argy-bargy that is the Moor Army podcast. It's been a funny old week, but welcome back to episode of the Unleashed version of this podcast, episode 95. That's right, episode 95. We have done over 100 podcasts, but because it's now fully unleashed, we don't do the family-friendly version anymore. It's episode 95 of that, so we're coming up to almost 100 episodes of Unleashed. So, yeah, it's crazy, crazy times. But anyways, guys, welcome back. Hope you're all keeping well out there since the last time I spoke to you. So I hope you've all had a great week. Hope you've all had a great weekend last weekend. I'm sat here this morning looking out the window at a sort of crappy looking day outside. Sorry, a swig of water for the working man here. Yeah, it's a bit of a muggy old morning out there, but I'm sitting here this morning with all my notes and I'm ready to rock and roll. So before I continue any further, guys, apologies for no podcast last Tuesday, which was 2 days ago. I was intending to get down and get the podcast done first thing in the morning, but obviously other things have come up at the last minute. I never got around to doing it, and then by the time I got everything wrapped up my day, it came up to nearly tea time, and then I had to head out on Tuesday night to Cumber to a football game, so I never got a chance to do a podcast, so apologies for that. And a lot of your questions you were sending to me on Instagram and Facebook, I've been sitting the last day or so when I got an hour to myself to reply to some of yous. But sorry about that, guys. It's just one of those things, you know, life catches up with me in general and you can't really get a chance to do it. But yeah, I'm here anyway now, and I'm here to do another podcast. So it's been an interesting week since the last time I spoke to you. We've had a lot of major incidents in the world happening, some being sad. In the last episode of the podcast, we talked about Ozzy Osbourne passing away. We've got more to talk about another major passing in the world as well. So we've got loads to talk about today in the podcast, guys. So I've got some of your questions to answer as well. So I want to try and get through as quickly as possible, get through it all to, have an argy-bargy as I like to do here every single week. Anyway, guys, before I continue on with the podcast today, just want to give a wee shout out to our friends and partners of the Moor Army podcast. That's FTBL Spot. If you are a lover of classic football shirts, mystery shirts in a box, football boots and more, go to our good friends at FTBL Spot. Now, if you're listening to this episode today on YouTube, go into the description of this video, of this podcast, and check out the details how to get in contact with them. If you go to their website and their social media pages, which is FTBL Spot, send them a message quoting Moor Army. They will give you a discount code for their website to put in at checkout to get great discounts on all their products. So if you are a fan of collecting classic football shirts, or you're looking at a mystery shirt in a box, or you're looking for a new pair of football boots or whatever, give these guys a shout. They are really, really good quality stuff, best of gear, and they are a great delivery service as well, and they're very reliable. And as you've probably seen on my YouTube channel, they are a really, really good company. They've sent me a couple of mystery shirts. They've sent Lewis football boots, but they are great people. FTBL Spot, check them out, guys. They are a great company, upcoming, and they are really worth taking a look at and obviously purchasing some of their items because they are very, very good. So anyway, guys, if you want to get in contact with us as well here on the Moor Army podcast, you can certainly do it by social media, which is the Facebook page, which we made an announcement actually 2 days ago. We're going to be doing a bit of rebranding on the Moor Army YouTube channel Facebook page. We're on there if you want to send us a message or follow us on there, guys. We're also on, you can follow me on Instagram, official Matthew Murray. You can send me a message on there as well. or if you want to contact us by email, morearmypodcast@yahoo.com. Right. Plenty to talk about today on the podcast. Got some notes that I had previously from the podcast on Tuesday. Some other things have popped up as well. But guys, what a week it's been since the last time I spoke to you before getting into some of the news and whatnot. It's been a pretty hectic week for me, so it has. I've been away out doing different things, other working adventures and doing other things as well, and it's just been one of those crazy weeks. And also, I've got things planned for the weekend ahead, which I'm hoping still goes according to plan. But it's just been one of those weeks, hasn't it, guys? Everything I've seen in the news this week, it's all been negative. All negative. And it's very, very rare you see very positive things. But I'm hoping this podcast cheers you up a wee bit today, because I've got some news that I want to talk about and obviously get some things off my chest, as I always like to do here, as you always know. But anyway, yes, guys, first of all, last Thursday, when we put the last podcast out, we obviously talked about Ozzy Osbourne passing away. His funeral was actually yesterday, which would have been Wednesday. Ozzy obviously was an icon of music, rock and roll music, and I watched clips of his funeral online yesterday. To see Sharon and his two kids absolutely heartbroken, which was just so hard to see. But then, as we put the podcast out last Thursday, literally a few hours later, it was announced that wrestling star and also Hollywood actor, he's been done everything in the entertainment business, Hulk Hogan passed away at the age of 71. Now, I'm not going to get too in-depth into this subject, guys, because I know a lot of my listeners don't watch professional wrestling, but I want to talk about it briefly because I am a big fan of professional wrestling. I used to do professional wrestling myself. I used to be a promoter as well, and Hulk Hogan was one of my childhood heroes when I was a young lad growing up here in Northern Ireland, and to watch Hogan growing up as a kid, he was larger than life character. I mean, everybody, even if you didn't watch professional wrestling, you knew who Hulk Hogan was. Everybody knows who Hulk Hogan is, from the movies that he done, TV shows, obviously the wrestling part of it as well. Everybody knew who Hulk Hogan was. Hulk Hogan was a big name in the 80s and the 90s. He was a massive name, still a massive name right up till the day he died. But it was so sad to hear the news that he had passed away at the age of 71. Now, in his most recent years, Hogan was living, how the man survived every day was beyond me. I mean, having over 11, 12 serious back surgeries, knee replacements, hip replacements, broken bones, injuries. The man put his body through hell to entertain the audience. And a lot of people out there think, oh, but he's only a wrestler, wrestling's fake and all. Well, Hogan was a prime example that wrestling is not fake. And it's okay, it's choreographed, and we know who wins and stuff like that. They know who's going to win the match and whatnot, unless something major happens where they have to change the finish to the match or whatever. But Hogan is a prime example to show you how look at the toll it took on his body. The back surgeries that man had, especially. The man could barely walk. Living in pain every day. Just constant living in pain. To provide entertainment for the public, and obviously provide a living for his family and stuff. And I know a lot of people recently in recent times he's made a few mistakes over the last couple of years of his life, and he obviously apologised for that, but a lot of people don't seem to let go of that, and they're still online slating the man, even though he's passed away and all now, which I think is absolutely fucking disgusting. But again, we should try and remember the good times. It's not as if he's a fucking paedophile or anything like that, like of a Jimmy Savile or something like that. He's not. He made a few mistakes in his life. He said a few things that he shouldn't have said, and he's obviously held his hands up and he's asked for it. And in recent years, he sort of, held his hands up and gave his life to God. And, and just, you could talk about it all day, guys, but I'm not going to, because again, I don't want to, for the people who are listening to the podcast now who don't want to listen about Hulk Hogan, you can fast forward if you want to, but just a little short segment here I want to talk about him. Me growing up as a young boy in Belfast, I always remember Hogan was one of those characters that brought me and my dad together. Because my dad, when I was young lad growing up, my dad was always away working all the time, and he worked for the council, and he was working all the hours around the clock. But whenever it came to time to watching wrestling in the Moore household when I was a young lad, Hulk Hogan brought me and my dad together. That's what brought us together, was wrestling. You know, same as me and my brother as well. When we were kids as well, professional wrestling brought us together, and we still watch professional wrestling to this day. But the point, you know, is that Hogan was an icon. You know, even outside of wrestling, he done all those famous movies like Mr. Nanny, Rocky 3, Suburban Commando, you know, No Holds Barred, all the different low-budget movies that he done. He was in Baywatch. He was all these different programs that he done. All the appearances he done, all the Make-A-Wishes he done for kids and for families. And the guy literally, his body, you couldn't say his body was broken anymore. I mean, how he passed away was a heart attack at the end of it all, but you know, just after having a neck surgery. I mean, the guy's had so many operations. It's unreal, guys. 2 fake hips, fake knees, back surgeries. The guy basically gave his body for entertainment. And for people to turn around and say, oh, wrestling's fake. Well, then look at fucking Hulk Hogan. He couldn't even barely walk. You know what I mean? And, I mean, I still struggle from some things from the days that I done wrestling. I only done it for 5 years. But the point is, you know, the man gave his body to the business. And, you know, it's so sad to hear another icon has passed away. You know, I'll always have fond memories of Hulk Hogan growing up. I mean, for example, I've put it out my my YouTube channel many times. I collect the WWE Funko Pops for a hobby. And I have every single one of the Hulk Hogan ones, bar one, which is really, really expensive and very rare to get hold of. And it was actually Lewis coming to me the other day and he says, Dad, I just had a look on eBay. He says, your Funko Pops, or the prices went through the roof. And I think that's disgusting, the fact that people are now trying to make money off this man's passing. But again, that's to be expected. Once a celebrity dies, their merchandise just goes through the roof. But away from that, you know, Hogan was a childhood hero of mine growing up. I always loved watching Hulk Hogan when I was a young lad. Obviously, as I got older, obviously faded away from Hogan and went to watch other performers instead. But everybody knows who he was. Everybody knew, even if you didn't watch wrestling, if you saw a guy on the street, you know Hulk Hogan? Oh, yeah, Hulk Hogan, that big wrestling guy. Yeah, Hulk Hogan. You know, Mr. Nanny and, you know, all that, No Holds Barred and stuff like that. So sad. So my thoughts and prayers go out to Hogan and his family. And it's hard to believe that he's not here anymore. I remember saying that 20 years ago, could you imagine the day whenever Hulk Hogan passes away? It's just insane. Everywhere I've went the last week or so since he's passed away last Thursday, all I see is all these AI videos of him and all these tributes to him, and I put a couple of YouTube shorts up on our channel for him. It's just crazy, guys. I can't believe the fact that he's no longer with us anymore. But yeah, Hulk Hogan passed away at the age of 71. And he's one of those ones that I'll always remember growing up as a child and fond memories of me and my dad watching him as a young lad. It's so sad. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Guys, what have I got for you else today on the podcast? Got a couple of other things I want to talk about today. Mr. Trump has been in the UK. Well, he was in Scotland recently, opening up a golf course, and he was out doing a few other bits and bobs as well. But I thought the best part of it, guys, whenever he was when he was sitting with Mr. Keir Starmer, that fucking balloonhead, he was sitting there saying about Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, saying he's a hateful man and he's not a nice person, he's done a crap job. And then Keir Starmer had the balls to turn around to him and go, oh yeah, he's my friend. And if I was Trump, I'd have went, oh, did I hurt your wee feelings, Keir? Oh, you poor little boy, have a wee cry. Even though Sadiq Khan has ruined fucking London. He has ruined London. You know, the amount of crime in London now is atrocious. You know, the things went down through and all he was concerned about was the cyclists with their wee GoPros on their head and they're going around cycle lanes. Like, traffic is bad enough in London as it is without taking away more lanes of traffic and putting in cycle lanes. Like, seriously, what the fuck? It's just, oh. But Donald Trump, and I'm probably going to get grief from this. I'm going to get a couple of emails about this. I couldn't give a shit, to be honest. You know, he was there and he was putting people straight, and then he was talking about the immigration situation, which I'm not going to get into today in the podcast because I've talked about it quite a bit recently. But yeah, it's when I say I want to talk about it, there was an incident happened in Belfast this past week about a man trying to protect a 9-year-old from a foreigner, but I'm not going to talk about it today because if I get into it, I'll be ranting for like 2 hours and I don't want to. But when Donald Trump started going on about telling the UK to close their borders and get it sorted, he had a point. So yeah, but the best part of his visit was, and I haven't been tracking his visit or whatever, but the best part is definitely when he turned around to him and says that the Mayor of London's basically a balloon head, and Keir Starmer was like, but he's my friend. Oh, Keir, did he hurt your feelings? Have a cry. Boo-hoo. Fucking balloon head. But yeah, Donald Trump's been over visiting, opening up the golf course and stuff. You all know he's a big golfing man. But yeah, it's just... Oh, he does my head in, so he does Keir Starmer. Anyway, guys, here's a wee subject I want to talk about today in the podcast as well. I can mention this a couple of times over the last few weeks. Mobile phones. Young ones now on their mobile phones. They're constantly walking around super glued to their phones. You know, a lot of parents contact me. I think I got an email, was it last week, about that, saying about taking phones off kids in school. What's in the news this morning about mobile phones and kids, about their screen time, which was a very interesting read. I get emails all the time from parents on this podcast saying about, you know, why are young ones super glued to phones all the time? It is true. I think I told you a story before a couple of months back, or maybe even last year on the podcast, where I was on a train one time going to Belfast with Lewis. And we were sitting in this train. The trains here in Northern Ireland have, you know, obviously singular seats, and then they've got, what I call them table seats, where you have seats with 4 seats with a table in the middle. And there was this part of the train where there was like 2 table seats facing each other, and me and Liz were sitting at one. And these 4 young girls, I would say they're probably about 17, 18 maybe years of age, all together on the train. Now they get on the same stop at us here in Bangor, which is the main station here and where I live in Northern Ireland. And we get off a stop in Belfast, which took about 20 minutes to get there by train, because obviously we have a few stops on the way up there. And the whole time we went where we get off the train, they were still on the train, because we get off 2 stops before the main station in the city centre. And the whole way to Belfast, the girls didn't even speak to each other. They were just super glued to their phones on their face the whole way to Belfast. They didn't even communicate with each other. Fuck me when I used to get on the train years ago, even when we had mobile phones back in the day. Okay, it wasn't smartphones, but we weren't sitting fucking texting constantly. We sat on the phone and we talked about life, and we had a laugh and a joke, and we cracked jokes, and you don't see that no more. And I saw it that day, them girls glued to their phones. And everywhere you go now, you walk around and you see young ones, their fucking faces are stuck in phones. It's like, even recently I've had a few run-ins with Lewis, because Lewis is like, we're sitting there trying to watch a TV show or something, and he's on his phone. I'm like, Lewis, put your phone down for 5 minutes. You're watching TV. You're not fucking sitting there with a phone in your face. So this story today, I was going to read it to you today, it was about screen time does, a research now apparently says, what screen time does to children's brains is more complicated. You know, it just goes on here to say, this girl wrote a story here recently saying about kids, you know, they became more addictive to their phones and what they have in their life. They're constantly their faces are stuck to screens, and more so young babies as well. And again, I totally agree with this. Should their screen time be restricted? 100%. I'll give you another story. I don't think I've told this story before. I was in Liverpool last year, okay, and there's a place in Liverpool called St John's. Now, anybody who doesn't know Liverpool, there's a shopping complex in the city centre called St John's. Now, we all know, if you've watched my YouTube channel for years, you all know Lewis is famous for being the Pound Bakery boy. There's a wee bakery over there, it's equivalent to Greg's, called Pound Bakery, and Lewis has been well known for obviously visiting there. We've done vlogs in there, and they've been kind to Lewis. And Lewis, if you go back and watch all the vlogs about Pound Bakery and on our YouTube channel, you'll see. But they also have a business called Pound Cafe in that place. I went in that morning for a bacon roll and a coffee, and I was sitting there one morning on my own. I was over for a Liverpool game, and this girl walked in with a child, maybe about 2-year-old, and the child was being a wee brat, squealing its head off, you know. But again, any normal parent would control the child and take it offside, and, you know, if it was me, or it was like Brooke or Lewis, and when there were prams, I would take them offside and try to calm them down, because number one, you don't want to embarrass yourself, and you want to get the child under control and calm the child down. Plus, you don't want to cause a scene in the middle of a fucking public place. Well, this wee young girl, I would say she's probably in her early 20s, came in with this child, and the child was being a right wee shitbag, and constantly putting the hands up, with the hands going, like squeezing the hands back and forward, like they want something. And and the mum was too busy sitting fucking playing on her phone. Instead of turning and saying, okay, sweetheart, what is it you need? Couldn't even talk, really, as well. Mobile phone. The child wanted a fucking mobile phone. And what did the mum do? Gave in, handed the child the phone, and the child stuck to a screen. We woman that was sitting 2 tables from me looked over at me and she says, that's what's wrong with this generation, she says. Mobile phones and tablets. They just give it to the kids to shut them up. They don't know how to control them. And I went, you know something? I'm the same. And it's true. You walk through supermarkets now, you see babies on phones, babies on iPads, just to shut them up while the parents are sitting there playing on their phones. But even now, more so, this teenage generation, they're just constantly glued to phones. And now there's research going around now that apparently the screen time for the average teenager and the early adult now is ridiculous. Yes, I use my mobile phone for vlogging. I use my mobile phone for emails and other bits and bobs, but I'm not glued to it 24/7. Now, when you get a new mobile phone, that's different. You get a new phone and you're all excited, and blah, blah, blah. I'm due an upgrade for my phone this year and I'm going to get a new phone, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I got a new phone. And then I'll be like, yeah, I'm bored with it now. You know what I mean? It's like the screen time for kids, especially now and young ones, is insane. They're constantly glued to phones. They don't communicate with each other anymore. I remember one time when Brooke was, 14, 15? Aye. I said to her, Brooke, I'm going to take your phone off you and I'm going to ground you for being cheeky to me. But how am I supposed to contact my friends? How am I supposed to go about it? And what? Oh, I need to speak. You need to speak to them? No. I need my phone. Need your phone for what? Need your phone for what? You don't need your phone. Life goes on without a mobile phone. And it's the same with Lewis. When Lewis was, 15 last year? Same thing, he was being a cheeky wee monkey one day and I said to him, Lewis, no, phone. Oh, will you take my phone? I need it for my schoolwork. You don't need your phone for schoolwork. Don't bullshit me. Give me your phone. You know what I mean? This is the thing, that these young ones now say they need their phones. And as I've said this, I've made this point many times in my podcast. Anytime my children ever say to me, I want, I need, I switch off and ignore them. See, this I want, I need doesn't exist in this house. Never does. And that's why I've always brought my tip to never say that, because it's just so, it sounds so spoilt. But again, who is to blame for this situation with these young ones now with their phones? Who's to blame? I mean, obviously the parents are banning them their phones. Okay, I didn't buy my kids their phones until they were a little bit older. I didn't let them on social media, which I've talked about before, until they were well over a certain age, because again, I was trying to protect them from all the bullshit online and all the perverts online as well. But the point is, I mean, this recent study saying here that, people are saying, like, is it bad for them? Is it good for them? But I'm asking you now, the parent out there who's listening to this podcast, what do you think about this? I mean, this thing about these young ones now, especially, just constantly super glued to phones. What's your view on it? Because, I mean, in recent studies, it's saying now the majority now of teenagers are walking around with phones glued to their face. It's like robots. But then you go up to these average teenagers and you would say to them, do you know how to turn, like, for example, household chores. Do you know how to use a washing machine? I'll just Google it. Do you know how to use a cooker? I'll just Google on my phone. They can't do things because they're glued to phones. So let me know what you think about that. I'm asking all you parents out there, and let me know what you think. Drop me a couple of emails or messages, guys, for Tuesday's podcast, and we'll talk about it. Because I'd love to hear from you guys about this, because that recent report going around today is just absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Another thing I want to talk about today as well, guys. Anybody out there, now this is a bit of a technical conversation I want to have here today, briefly. This new company called, is it Freely? Are building a new way to watch streaming TV. Now, everybody knows about streaming TV out there. Everybody's heading towards the streaming TV. Even Sky TV themselves are heading towards it. And, people are saying about this new company called Freely. Apparently now they're trying to build their way about showing new ways of doing it. And they're trying to compete with the likes of Amazon Fire Sticks and, smart TVs and things like that. Television as a whole has completely changed over the years. It really has. Going back to the days where there was only 3 channels or 4 channels. When I grew up as a kid, I mean, obviously we got Sky in the early 90s. Well, late 80s, early 90s. Back in the days when you got Sky TV, you had 2 receiver boxes and the dish was half the size of your fucking wall outside your house. Yeah, it was like a service where if your dish moved slightly, the picture went all snowy and there was none of this digital caper. But now television has moved on where it's all done digitally, online, streaming platforms and things like that. I mean, if you'd have turned around and said 25 years ago, 30 years ago that everything would have been streaming on the internet, people would have looked at you and went, what? Seriously? But there's this company now called Freely. It's going to launch its first streaming box, bringing like a Sky Glass, like features to television screens. Now they're trying to compete with all other smart TVs, including Chromecast, Fire TV, or things like that. I mean, most people now are using Fire TV for television. I use a Fire Stick for television, you know, for Sky TV and for all these different things that you do. All the different things like Amazon, Netflix, YouTube, you know, all these different services now are all available at the touch of a button compared to what it was like back in the day where Sky, I mean, a lot of people still out there have just standard Freeview. People have just a standard Sky. But even the price of TV now is oh my God, a lot of people now are leaving digital services because the television is so expensive. And the point of this project is this new company, Freely's, coming in. But I wanted to talk briefly about television, how much it's developed over the last 20 years. I mean, even the days when I worked in Curry's, when Sky HD was first coming out, you know, people thought this is what they used to get you to start. Fucking remember it well when people used to come and buy an HD TV for the first time. And they're going, let's get my Sky box, plug it in the HD. And they're like, no, you got to get an HD box. You got to pay an extra $10 a month for the HD channels. And they're like, what? Back then when the Sky prices were dear enough, now Sky TV prices are through the fucking roof. Through the absolute roof. So they are. But this new service, Freely's, coming out now, and apparently it's going to be more affordable television, and a lot more people are wanting to go towards other services. And I understand as well, there's a lot of illegal services out there now as well, you know, where you can get services and apps on your phone and apps on your TV and all now where you can watch TV illegally and stuff like that. But then we'll go into the whole argument before we've talked about on the podcast about fucking TV licenses and stuff like that. You know, people refuse to pay TV license because they don't watch the BBC. But there's a whole loop around saying if you're watching live TV, it's a whole plethora of stuff. Me personally, I would only watch really Liverpool games live on TV. I would watch more Netflix now, Amazon, YouTube, you know, other things like that. Reels on YouTube, Instagram Reels, things like that, because again, that's just the way I operate now. I mean, years ago I just hadn't watched normal terrestrial TV and all, but now I don't really watch it anymore for a lot of reasons. But guys, the point is, again, this new service coming in, Freely it's called. Apparently they're going to be it's like a plug and play thing, but there's so many different competitors out there as well. This company Freely's trying to do something different. You've got the likes of your Roku TV, you've got your, you know, all your services like Fire TV, and again the main ones like Amazon, Netflix, YouTube, you know, all the different platforms, all the different services from America like Hulu, and you know, Disney Plus is another one. All these different services you can get. There's so many options now for television, and digital television is evolving every single time, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. But keep an eye out, guys, because this new Freely service, I've done a bit of research into it. It actually looks quite good. So if you do look into it, and if it does suit what you need for television wise, you can have a look at it. But it's in the news today, though, this morning. Apparently they're going to try and compete with the likes of this, because of their setup and stuff in the service. They're trying to compete with the likes of Sky. Sky at the minute's getting a lot of grief because of their prices are just too fucking crazy. But again, it's Sky. They're the main boys. They are the big top boys when it comes to like sport and movies and events and stuff like that. They know how to make their money, and they are the top dogs. So they are. So other companies have come in over the years to try and compete with them, but obviously they fell flat in their face. The likes of On Digital, ITV Digital, over the years they were just two to name to start with. They fell flat in their arse years ago. It's just crazy. You can talk about digital TV all day, right back to when Sky TV launched here in the UK, but Sky has always been the main top dog. So it has. But again, it's just, they're always bringing out new services. They're always trying to develop. So they're always trying to change things. Guys, I'm sure you probably saw yesterday all over the news about flights in the UK being cancelled and delayed because of some, was it a technical difficulty or whatever it is? All the flights have been cancelled. So if you're listening to this podcast today and you're travelling this weekend, or you're travelling away on your air flights, I can just say to you now, check your airlines, check your flights. Your flights haven't been changed and stuff, because it's been all over the news this morning. Every website that I went on to, apparently the airports in England are going crazy at the moment because of all these flight delays, especially after that big digital era thing, whatever they had yesterday, which just absolutely freaking crazy. But yeah, check your flights, guys. If you're going away, this is the busiest week of the year. People going away on their summer holidays because kids in the UK have just recently finished their school year. And they're all going away on their summer holidays. So if you're listening to me and you're here in the mainland as a podcast, I'm listening to this podcast, check your flights before you leave home today. Or your flights before you leave home, because there's a lot of delays and a lot of cancellations. Ryanair and EasyJet especially. And there's a lot of, apparently Ryanair messed up big time yesterday, and there's a lot of people calling for the head of Ryanair to step down and resign. I was reading that this morning with my coffee, and it was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know if you remember, guys, if you watch my YouTube channel, was it about a year or two ago? We and Lewis were stranded in London for an extra night because the whole thing went shut down, remember? And we were stranded there, and we had to get another hotel, and it was a whole big argy-bargy. We had to spend another night in London, and it was just absolute chaos. So it was. But yeah, there's nothing worse when you're getting ready to go for your summer holiday and the fucking flight's cancelled. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, check your flights, guys, before you go, because the airports apparently at the minute in the mainland are a little bit chaotic and they're all over the place. Before I continue on with some of your questions and stuff like that, and I'm also going to announce the Jackass of the week this week as well, which I forgot to mention at the very start of this bloody podcast. I want to end the stories by some good news today. Yes, finally, after being put away, in my opinion, for no reason, now I'm going to probably get a lot of hate from talking about this again, but I don't really give a shit, to be honest. Finally, to be freed from prison after weeks over a tweet, Lucy Connolly is finally going to be released from jail. Now, I've talked about this a couple of times over the last month or so on the podcast about social media and about what you can say on social media, people getting put in jail for no reason at all. But that's the wife of ex-Tory councillor she was jailed for calling for migrant hotels to be said that she was sharing tweets and stuff like that there. It was done on the same day as the Southport attack, which is a year ago, actually this week, which was just, I can't believe it's been a year since Southport. It's been absolutely unbelievable. Lucy Connolly, who was 41, was in prison for 31 months in October after being found guilty of inciting racial hatred over a tweet. And she was sent to jail for 31 months over a tweet. Now, guys, you know my views on all this here, not even just this case alone, in general, where social media now is where you say boo-hoo to somebody or hurt some snowflake's fucking feelings, or somebody in some office with a folder under their arm who think they're funny and there's some wee university type think they're smart and all that there, and they go, oh, I don't like what he or she said on social media, let's get them put in jail, which is horrendous. People, I've been reading all week this week online, court cases in Northern Ireland, especially here, and also in the mainland, you know, people who have killed people, people who have raped people, people who have attacked people, you know, all these different serious cases who should be locked up in jail are getting out on bail, they're getting let go, but people who are putting a wee tweet online or saying, having an opinion on something, they're getting locked up in jail, which I think is absolutely horrendous behaviour. And apparently now Lucy Connolly is getting released. She will be getting released. She comes out, I think it's next week maybe. Says here she'll serve 40% of her term come August. And she's now getting released. Which, guys, what type of world do we live in now where you can't even say anything or do anything now where you're getting hammered? You know what I mean? I get it all the time. And to be honest with you, I'm going to tell you something here now on the podcast today. Was it 3 years ago? I went to a show in Blackpool. Now, you all probably remember I went to a show in Blackpool at the North Pier. I went and seen a guy called Alex and the girl Katie Hopkins. I went and seen them live. And the abuse that I received because of that was horrendous. And because I liked Katie Hopkins, and I've openly told the woman to her face, you watch the vlog on my channel, you see me standing talking to her, but off camera I told her, Katie, I don't agree with everything you say, but I agree with some things you say, and I think you're quite funny and entertaining. That's why I came today. It's the same as Alex. Now, Alex was obviously sent to jail for words. Now, a lot of people are saying he was a stalker and he was this and he was that. You know, but he's still fighting the fight to this day. He was sent to jail for words. And, I told Katie to her face, I mean, a lot of stuff you say, Katie, I don't agree with, but there's a lot of stuff I do agree with because it's the proper way of living. It's called an RG Bargy. That's why I always say in the start of this podcast, it's RG Bargy. You say things to me I don't agree with. I say things in this podcast you don't agree with and all. But the hate that I got from that, one particular person who I think still that same person who still sleeps in his mum's back bedroom or his mum's basement and still sends all them emails to me, I think it's the same person, call me a far-right extremist and I'm this and I'm that and all because I went to that. Well, do you know something, guys? Last night, now, Alex has been released from prison. Alex is back out in the public world again, and he's doing his live shows. He's doing all the different things and whatnot. And again, Alex, there's a lot of stuff that he puts out there which I don't agree with. I just let it go over my head. But there's other stuff that he talks about which I agree with. And I like him because he's funny. Not because of the political stuff that he does. He does all these wee funny skits. When he puts on outfits like wigs and hats and stuff like that. And he just takes the piss and has a laugh. He's an old school comedian. He comes from the same generation as me, where he grew up around the likes of Roy Chubby Brown, Jim Davis, and all the old school comedians back in the day, where a lot of them now are cancelled or they're no longer with us anymore. But some of them who are still alive are not allowed to speak anymore because it's racist and too offensive and blah 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 blah. Well, do you know something? Last night, Alex done a live phone in, so he did, and I called in to talk to him. And I got through, and I spoke to him on the air last night, and I was chatting away to him and stuff like that, and I told him I was coming to watch the show in Blackpool. I'm in Blackpool anyway, because I'm invited over for a football game, but I knew he was in the town that weekend anyway, so I bought a ticket and I'm going to go and see him. And for anybody out there who is going to come back at me and slate me and say, oh, he's a far-right extremist, he's this, he's that, look, listen, it's called freedom of choice. I can do whatever the fuck I want to, and I can listen to whoever I want to and talk to. Now, I may go to his show, and it could be shit, but I could go to his show, and it could be average, or I could go to his show, and it could be good. Who knows? The last time I went to that show before, the amount of abuse that I got from morons online saying, oh, you go and see that dickhead for blah, 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 blah. You should be ashamed of yourself. And what? But you know what the really cool thing about it was? When I got through to him last night, right? Now, I never got a chance to meet him, per se. I got to speak with Katie. Katie was in my vlog. If you go back and watch it, you'll see it. It's on the channel. It's still there. You can watch it. Alex turned around to me last night and said to me, I believe you made a lovely video of our show the last time you were there. And I was like, I did. I said, did you see it? He says, not personally, no. But all the guys who work for me have all seen it. And for him to know that and say that to me live on the air with thousands of people watching him was awful nice of him to do that. I said to him, well, I'll have to get a picture with this time and all. And I just called a spade, guys. I turned around and I said to him, Alex, here's the thing. I get hammered by all these lefty, wokey, fucking crazy fuckers all the time, but now I'm starting to ignore them because they're absolute head cases. And he calls a spade. But at the end of the day, I'm going to, obviously, for speaking about this now, I'm going to get slated. And again, it's all back to that wee girl, Lucy Connolly. You can't say anything now, you always get fucking hammered. Well, I was on there last night talking away and stuff, and he asked me what our YouTube channel was called, and he asked about the podcast, and I told him I promoted the podcast and all on there. And guys, this was thousands of people watching this last night. Trying to get through to his phone lines on a live phone-in is horrendous. Thousands of people trying to get on there to speak to him for 5 minutes. And he calls a spade a spade. He calls a spade a spade. You know what I mean? And again, people may hate me for liking him, but at the end of the day, I don't agree with everything that he says, but I think he's entertaining. I think he's funny. You know what I mean? He does all these wee outfits. He puts all these outfits on. He takes the piss out of the government. He takes the piss out of celebrities. It's old school entertainment. And that's what's missing in this world now, where the old school entertainers are not allowed to be themselves anymore because of these far-right, woke, crazy fuckers who try and cancel everything. Like Katie Hopkins, for example. She was all over the news there last week about one of her shows being cancelled because apparently a few people said they were going to turn up and protest, so the council cancelled the show. Hundreds of people bought tickets. The show was sold out. She was in Belfast here recently in Northern Ireland. She was in Dublin there recently as well. All 4 nights sold out, packed to the gills with people. So are they all crazy? So they all... And I even said this to Alex last night. I mean, Alex, I get called everything. Racist. Nazi. I've been called a Nazi too as well because I don't agree with the lefties. I said to him, I'm not far right. I'm not left wing. I am just me. I am a realist. I'm a real person. That's who I am. If I choose to watch a certain thing or agree with a certain thing, then what's that got to do with anybody else's choice? If they turn around and say to me, oh, well, I don't like you watching that, I'm not going to watch your YouTube channel no more because you watch Katie Hopkins, well, that's your choice. I'm not going to turn around to you and say, oh, please come back and watch me. No. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. It's called freedom of choice. You can, if you want to watch something, watch it. If you don't want to, switch it off. So yes, I will be at his show in Blackpool again this year. And for anybody out there who has a problem with that, well then keep your problems to yourself because I'm still going to go regardless whether you like it or not. Yes, I'm in Blackpool for the weekend. I'm away there to watch a football game. Blackpool against Luton. I'm going to go watch Blackpool versus Luton. I'm going to go down to Fleetwood for the day. I'm going to go to RB Bits and Bobs. I'm going to try and find RB spots nearby to go and visit. And I want to do a couple of really good vlogs. I've got loads of plans. You know, I want to really go all out when I'm there. And if people don't like what I'm going to be doing while I'm there, then that's your choice. But that's the point of this thing with Lucy as well. A lot of people are up in a roar saying, why is this girl getting put in jail for tweets? You know, and again, at the end of the day, guys, it's so scary. Like, there was 3 people from Northern Ireland on that phone in last night, and they were all saying the same thing. You know, the world's going fucking bonkers. But anyway, enough of that. I was going to post, I've got the video of me on that call with Alex last night. I was going to post it on social media, but then if I do that there, then I'm probably going to get fucking slated. So maybe I will post it. Maybe I will post it on my YouTube channel. Because we just talk about general stuff. You know, the way the world's going crazy. And if you don't go by don't fall in the line of a certain ideology in life, then you get absolutely hammered. Listen, as I said, in closing, you know, this whole thing with Lucy Connolly, I'm glad to see her getting out. I'm listening to the other things as well. The people who I watch and like in life, I don't agree with everything to do, everything to say, but there are certain things that draw me into it. They're called entertainers. You know what I mean? And again, it's just one of those things. But that's just me. And I was on there last night and it was great to talk to him. And he let me promote my YouTube channel and he helped me promote my podcast. So anybody out there who's listening to this podcast who watched that show last night, because I've had a lot of lovely comments, and I had a couple of people who followed me on Instagram last night sending me lovely messages and all too as well. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in last night and saying hi. And, you know, it was awful nice of you to do that. Guys, I'm not left wing. I'm not right wing. I am just me. And I will watch what I want and be entertained by what I want and when I want, and I can have my own personal views on it. And if you want to come in and try and bombard me, as me and Alex said last night, we're not going to give you any attention. We're just going to block you and get ready. Toodaloo, all the best. Anyway, let's get in. I'll tell you what, I'll do Jackass of the week at the end, and then I'll do some of your questions here now. Because obviously there's a lot of you sent me in questions over the last day or so, and I obviously replied to some of you as best as I could, so you gotta bear with me. So you gotta bear with me because, again, there's a lot of you who've been contacting me about a lot of different things. We will see now, where are we here? Right, I've one here from Luke_Ireland_rugby_super_fan on Instagram says, Matthew, will Liverpool sign Ishak? I hope so. Please let them sign him. I hope so. Smashing player. Another question here on Instagram says, what's your favourite flavour of Fanta? You can't beat the original orange. All these different flavours of blue and, I don't know, all these different colours now, red, and can't beat the original Fanta though, especially with ice cubes. It's good stuff. Where are we here now? See. I think this person who sent me a question is probably trying to be a little bit funny, but also I know who they are. Says here, have you ever met a fan for a photo at Cumberrec? Yes, I met a fan the other night at the game. Young lad come up to me and he asked me for a picture at the Cumberrec Bangor game the other night. And it was awful nice of him to come up to me and say hi and wanted a picture. Guys, I love meeting new people. I love it. See meeting people. I absolutely love it. No matter what age you are. come and say hello, chat away. You know, I've talked to people from all different age groups. So, yeah, thank you for that. I have a young lad come up the other night. He told me his name, but I had two people in my ear talking, and I was trying to remember his name as well. So if you're listening to the podcast, thank you for coming up. It was nice of you to come up and say hi and get a picture and stuff. So thank you very much for that, young man. I appreciate it. Let's see, where are we? Matthew, would you rather have Daryl Gurley or Josh Rock as your number one Irish darts player? That's from William. At the minute, it's looking like it's going to be Rock, because obviously he's been playing some smashing darts recently. He's in really good form, and he's playing really, really well. He took Littler right to the wire in Blackpool, and he's doing really, really well for himself. World champion all now with Northern Ireland and stuff. So, yeah, he's the man at the minute here from Northern Ireland. He's playing some fantastic, really, really, really good darts. And, I look forward to see how his career pans out over the next weeks and months ahead. Right, here we go. I'll move over to the emails here now. It's moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. I'm just trying to get through everything quickly today, guys, because I didn't do a podcast on Tuesday. So if this podcast sounds kind of rushed, I apologise. I think this girl's actually emailed me before on the podcast. A girl called Kelly has said here, "Hi, Matthew, I have a question for the podcast and would be interested in hearing your point of view as a vlogger. It's a bit of a long one, LOL. Oh, it's just getting into depth. I love these emails. I know family vlogging has been popular for a long time, but over the last few years, I've seen the woke brigade have issues with it and saying it's a negative thing. Well, that is true, because I get it all the time. I've seen lots of family vloggers being attacked by people saying that children can't consent to be online. You know something, Kelly? I've seen that before. There's a couple of family vloggers in the UK and some in America I actually watch, more so here in the UK. That do obviously travel vlogs and go out with their family and their kids and just show general life like we did, especially more so back in the day. We also remember Brooke and Lewis were younger. And I've said this before in the podcast, Brooke and Lewis have openly told me they don't want to be in the vlogs as much anymore because they're older now and they don't want to be in them anymore. And I have to respect their decision because they're adults now. You know what I mean? And it's as hard as it is not having them in the vlogs anymore. I do miss making videos and all with them and having laughs and jokes, but I still have all those thousands of videos from over the years when they're growing up and all. So, but yeah, I do agree with you that one. Where are we here now? People saying in the comment. Yes, it says here now, even calling for changes to child labour laws so parents legally have to have for permission for their kids to be on their vlogs. It just seems like pure cancel culture. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Personally, I've been a viewer of yours for a few years, and I've always liked how you share your real side of family life. Well, thank you, Kelly. You obviously never share personal information about your kids or private moments online, and it's clear your kids just love being in the vlogs. Well, they used to, but not so much anymore, as I just said there. I do miss those days a lot, actually. I know you've said in the past that it was actually Brooke's idea to begin vlogging, which it did do, and I do remember that very, very well, like it was yesterday. I'm sure there's a few bad eggs out there, of course, but I think this would ruin the experience for family, damaging the parents as well. What are your thoughts on this? Love the podcast. Keep up the good work, Kelly from Belfast. Kelly, thank you once again for your email. You're obviously a regular listener to the podcast, and I appreciate that. I hope to run into you someday and have a personal chat with you face-to-face. It'd be nice to meet you in person. Family vloggers are getting hammered at the minute, and there's a whole lot of thing at the minute as well. And I think my channel's fell into that net of it. It's not cancel culture. What's the term they're using at the minute? I can't even remember now. Where a lot of viewers or YouTubers, especially, their views are down dramatically. Shadow banning, that's what it's called. A lot of channels are getting hit at the minute where they're not getting very many views. Even big YouTubers out there are not getting many views as well, which is, well, obviously the big ones in America are still getting their millions and millions of views, which is crazy. But again, my channel has dropped their views as well recently, and a lot of our channels have dropped as well here in the UK. There's a couple of family vloggers out there I watch, and I don't want to give their names because I don't want to obviously get them slated by any trolls or morons that are listening to this podcast today. I don't want to get any hate. Do lovely videos. They're always out and about travelling and doing things with their family, and just like basically what we were doing when my kids were growing up and all too. And you know, their views have dropped, and it's terrible. You know, it really, really is. Again, this term is there's shadow banning or something they're calling it now. And it's hard. And again, yes, Kelly, you say about the woke cancel culture and stuff like that. And it's unbelievable. Why can't just be and you can record this statement and put it out there wherever you want and share it with all your mates, whatever. My voice is right. If people want to do something, right? If people want to make videos for fun like we've done for 9.5 years, if people want to share certain things online, like a family holiday or pictures or whatever, a video montage or on YouTube or whatever, then why, for the love of God, people just leave them alone and let them do it? See, half the trolls that I've had over the years, the ones who still stick around, who I always say are heavily medicated and fucking absolute Looney Tunes, they wouldn't stand in front of the camera. They wouldn't have the balls to do it. You know what I mean? And again, people ask me all the time, why do you do your podcast and why do you do videos? No, I do videos for fun. Okay, it's not all about earning money or nothing like that. I do videos because I love editing and I love making videos, right? I love making memories. And I've told this to people before, and that's a quality that I will always see. If I ever meet another person and have a partner again, I'll tell them from day one, look, listen, I'm into making memories. I love it. It's just one of those things. I just love making memories so I can look back on a couple of years from now and go, God, do you remember the day, like Brooke and Lewis, whatever, remember that day, Brooke, you had this done, or remember the time, Lewis, you done this, or remember that time we went there, and remember that time things to look back on. And people say, oh, well, why are you sharing it online? Because it's the way the world is now, and I enjoy doing it. Why can't people just leave people alone and let them do their own thing? We live in this world now which is so full of fucking hatred. It's unbelievable. I don't like you. I hate you. Blah, blah, blah. Keep your pins to your fucking self. Leave people alone and just let them be. You know what I mean? Just let them be. Let them go out and do their own thing. Leave them alone, and especially families. Like, my God. I mean, okay, I've got this podcast now where I can talk to you guys and I can answer your questions and nothing. That's the reason why I set it all up, just to talk the things. And because at the end of the day, I was a broadcaster in radio for years. I've done podcasts before. I've been working football. I've done presenting before. I've done all these different things over the years. And this is just my way of sitting back on a Tuesday and Thursday with a coffee or a drink or whatever, a bottle of water, just sit back, shoot the shit, shoot the breeze, talk about the world and have a laugh. And if you don't agree with what I say, then just disappear. Just leave people alone. But Kelly, thank you for your email, darn, I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Right, let's get into one more email here before I head over to Facebook, and then I'll obviously do the Jackass of the week here for you. Right, let's have a look here. Right, I've got Austin. Austin sends me an email. Where's he from? Where's he from? Down to the bottom of the email. Where's he from? Oh, British Columbia. Oh, Austin from British Columbia. Very good. Hello, Austin. How you doing? Hey, Matt. How's it going? Came across your podcast about 2 months ago. Okay, well, thank you. Just browsing through and came across your podcast. Always been fascinated by the history of Northern Ireland. I would love to visit your country someday and check out all the great stuff and find out more of the history of Northern Ireland and Ireland as a whole. I would love to travel the whole island of Ireland and find out more about it in the future with my wife-to-be. Your podcast is good to listen to, but sometimes I find it hard to understand because of your Northern Ireland accent. Thanks very much, man. I appreciate it. But again, I think it's great. I'd love to see you talk about more about different things in Northern Ireland instead of the mainland UK, because I want to be interested more in visiting your country someday. Keep up the good work. And I've also came across your YouTube channel in the last 30 days and I've started watching some of your videos. Keep up the good work, my friend, and I'd love to see you someday when I visit your country of Ireland. Okay, well, Austin, thank you very much for that. God, I wonder how you came across that. Was it Spotify maybe, or Apple Podcasts or something? I don't know. Yeah, well, if you come to Northern Ireland sometime, give me a shout. I don't know about that time or that day. I would love to meet up with you and have a chat. I actually met an North fella years ago from America. He was from Detroit, Austin. Tony and I ran into him and his best friend in Dublin that time years ago. We went out for the night. We went to see Bill Goldberg live, and we also had a night out that night. We also met two girls from Nottingham, who I'm still friends with, all of them on social media. It was Tyler and Austin, they were called. They were from Detroit, and they were lovely lads, and I still have them on my personal Facebook to this day, and I still send them birthday messages all the time and whatnot. And one of them's actually got married now. I think it's maybe Tyler got married, for what I remember. He got married about 2 years ago. So lovely lads. and obviously the other two girls, what do you call them? Kaylee and what's the other one called? Oh, well, come back to me. I can't remember her name. They're from just outside Nottingham. They're from Mansfield. That's where they're from, Mansfield. And we met them at night all in Dublin. We all ended up just getting together and just sitting, drinking and having a laugh and a joke. And we ended up having an absolute ball that night. Tony was a wee bit too pissed that night, but it was fun. It was a great night. God, that was what, 2018 maybe it was? Yeah, about 2018 it was at the time in Dublin. It was a great night out. We've done vlogs and all too. We didn't do any vlogs of, in the bars with all them guys. We've done a vlog of me and Tony, but didn't actually video those guys because obviously we didn't know who they were, because I got to the point in the night where we stopped vlogging for a while. And yeah, for what I remember in the vlog, the next morning we woke up and Tony's still lying there, fucking dying. For what I remember, it was funny. Oh God, it was a good few years ago. But yeah, it was good, interesting, so it wasn't it. But yeah, I remember those guys. But listen, Austin, thank you for your email. I appreciate it, buddy. And if you're ever coming to Ireland in the future, let us know. And if I'm free or about that day, I'll hook up with you for a coffee or a beer or whatever. And if you're in Belfast, and we'll obviously catch up and stuff. But thank you for listening to the podcast, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you. Right, I'll move into Facebook here. Let's have a look and see. Right, where are we here? I actually forgot to open up the Facebook for, what do you call it? Let me see, where are we? Right, here we go. One here from Rachel. Rachel on the Facebook page says, "Hey Matt, how's it going? Just wanted to drop you a wee message for your podcast saying I listen to your podcast every week. Hope everything is good with you, especially since the last year you opened up about your mental health." Excuse me 1 second, I got a wee drink here. Starting to get a bit of a croaky throat here. Oh, it's better. I've now moved on to that Pepsi. Anyway, excuse me, get that out eventually. Rachel said, obviously getting into mental health, and it says here, "I lost my brother 2 years ago to suicide." Oh shit. We didn't see it coming. It came out of nowhere. He was a happy man with a happy life. He worked hard. He had a lovely wife and 2 small children. And one day, my dad was the one who found him in his garage, who unfortunately took his own life. My God, shit. Mental health is a big thing for our family, as we've been trying to help recent mental health charities and raise funds for awareness of people who are struggling with mental health problems. Matthew, I have enclosed my address in this email. If you want to write me a letter and talk to me, or if you want to reply to this email, we're always open to talk about it. We know by watching your video a year ago where you opened up about your personal issues, and we just want to let you know that myself and my whole family are here for you. Mental health is a very strong thing in this country, especially with so many men and women taking their own lives on a daily basis, which is, the numbers are staggering. Wow, I'm actually shaking reading this. Matthew, just feel that you're not alone. You have 2 wonderful kids and a great family, and I hope you are keeping okay. I know you continue going to your counselling every week, because I see your vlogs all the time, and I hope you're keeping well. I hope your counselling is helping you. And again, my address is in this email, and also my email address as well. If you ever need to send me a letter or talk to me or send me an email, I'm always available to speak to. Take care of yourself. Look after yourself. Enjoy your life as much as you can. And I hope you come out the other side feeling a lot better. My God. Sorry, I need to take another drink after that, guys. Wow. Ooh. See, this podcast, guys. This podcast, some of the messages I get in this podcast is just phenomenal. Wow. First of all, I'm sorry to hear about your brother. Wow. And you said it. Oh, I don't even know what to say, to be honest. It's a hard one. Second of all, thank you for reaching out. I know obviously on this podcast I do a lot of ranting and raving sometimes, but again, the struggles of life sometimes is really difficult. And I've said this to my counsellor many a time, I use this podcast as a wee bit of therapy, where I would sort of go out and get all the things off my chest and talk about different things and whatnot. But again, it's, oh my God. Wow. That's an email and a half, like, guys. I've had emails like that in this podcast over the years. I'm so sorry for your loss. And And the work you're doing for mental health charities is you're an angel. You and your family are all just heroes in my eyes. Myself personally, I'm not going to lie to you. Most days I do have my struggles, and there's days I don't even want to leave the house. And there's days where I don't even want to get out of bed. But again, I try and stay positive and try my best to get up every day and do things that need to be done and get things done and get myself through a day. And sometimes, like for example, last Tuesday when I couldn't do the podcast, I felt really bad about it. But on the other side of the coin, I was looking at myself going, I'm kind of glad I had a really busy day because it got me through another day. You know, and I've done a lot of, soul searching over the last year or so about myself and whatnot. And I was at my friend's memorial tree, as you probably saw in my vlog the other day. I'm visiting my grandparents and stuff like that, and I was sitting at my friend's memorial tree thinking over the last year, so this whole last year that I've been through, and just sitting there thinking to myself, Matthew, you're lucky to still be here. There's a lot of people out there who are not here anymore, and think about all the good things that you have. And for the first time in a long time, I've actually started to appreciate more now what I have. And I know obviously I've held my hands up in a minute that I've done a lot of, I'm not perfect. I've obviously been through a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been through, and obviously has affected my mental health and all. But again, I'm just trying to get up every day and trying to get through a day as best as I can. But your emails, just reading about your brother and all there now, it just shows you. I mean, I've been there. It's not nice being at that point where you think that's it, it's time to go. You know what I mean? And I never wanted to let myself go through all that again, where I got to the point where it wasn't 2013, where I did try to take my own freaking life. When I'm trying to stay positive, and I'm trying to, it's harder now as well, because when Brooke and Lewis were smaller, they obviously kept me on my toes all the time, and I was always busy with them, and now it's more so I spend more time on my own now than what I do with my two kids, because obviously they're out doing their own thing and all now. It's hard. But reading your email today, it's just, wow, that's really sort of, guys, that's just, wow. I sent my thoughts and prayers to you and your family. I will reply to your email today. I'll write back to you when I get off the air today. I'll make a point now of actually replying to you right away when I get off the air here. But yeah, thoughts and prayers with you and your family. Just trying to be strong, and most importantly, try and keep his memory alive, your brother's memory alive, and try and remember the good times. I mean, you said it came out of nowhere, and that's the thing though. All the things that I was doing for over 30 years, I was keeping all stuff locked up on my chest and holding everything back, and things that I wanted to say and do, I was too scared to, in case I was judged or looked down upon. And obviously all the years of growing up being bullied and picked on, and marriages, divorces, taking things out on other people which I shouldn't have. Instead of talking about things, I was taking issues out on other people, and which then caused a lot of other problems that I could have never had. But again, I'm now trying to fix myself more than anything else before I can fix everything else around me. So, but in closing, the subject, listen, I'm here anytime you need to drop an email or whatever. Thank you very much for that. I can talk to you anytime you want. If you follow me on social media, drop me a DM, and we'll have a chat about different things. But thank you for your email, your message. Sorry, on Facebook. Sorry, not email, Facebook message. Thank you for that, and I appreciate it. Wow, that's really hit home today, guys, that message. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Moving on, guys, now I'm going to head into the, I don't know, how can you go on to the Jackass of the week from that? Like, crazy. Just shows you guys, life's so precious, and you never know the minute. I talked about it in my vlog the other day, but I was walking away from the graveyard. I was saying, tell everybody you love them, because at the blink of an eye, boom, the ones you love could be taken away in the blink of an eye, or anything can happen at the blink of an eye. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. Enjoy every moment in life, guys, because life is too short. Right, I just had to pause the podcast there. That last email really sort of got me going a wee bit there, but I'm back. I've maintained my composure, and I'm ready to go. Right, guys, it's now time for the part of the week that I love doing, and I've got a cracking one this week. It's now time for the Moore Army podcast, Jackass of the Week segment. And there he is, old Boris the donkey. He's ready for it this week again. Yes, guys, last week's Jackass of the Week was that lunatic who was driving his Domino's pizza delivery scooter where he was driving along. I posted it on social media if you want to go and check it out on my social media pages, where he was driving along, showing off, and then he ended up falling on his ass. Complete jackass, but there's no doubt about it. A lot of you have been sending in different things this week, and some of you have sent the same thing that I'm actually about to announce here for Jackass of the Week. Yeah, he's definitely Jackass of the Week because of this. So, the Moore Army podcast, Jackass of the Week for this week is, can I get a drum roll, please? Thank you very much. The Moore Army podcast, Jackass of the Week this week, there's no doubt about it, it has to be Keir Starmer. Yes, it's Keir Starmer, and the reason why it's Keir Starmer is, well, as we comment, when Donald Trump said that, you know, that he's a horrible man, he's doing Sadiq Khan's doing he's a horrible wee man, he's done a horrible job in London, blah, blah, blah. And then he puts his hand out and goes, oh, but he's my friend. Yeah, what a tool, what a jackass. So the Jackass of the Week for this week is our beloved Prime Minister, Mr. Keir Starmer. That one's for you, sir. I'll post a video of the Jackass of the Week on social media when I get this podcast posted out. So if you haven't seen it, guys, go and check it out. It's on the Moore Army Facebook page and my Instagram. Go and check it out. It's hilarious. Before I do go, guys, as well, I did make an announcement 2 days ago on our YouTube channel about we're moving. We're moving, not away from YouTube or anything like that. We're not moving house or whatever and things like that. I did say on, was it Monday's thing, we were making an announcement, which we did do on Tuesday. We're moving to new platforms, including this podcast. Now, we're not going off Spotify or Apple Podcasts or TuneIn or YouTube, whatever. We are moving our vlogs and our podcasts as well over to 2 new platforms. Permanently, you can watch us or listen to us on there as well. We're going over to our Facebook page. We're trying to rebrand the Moore Army Facebook page. And we're also moving to another platform called Rumble. Now, if you haven't heard of Rumble, Rumble is like YouTube, but it's with more freedom. And you can say more on there, you can do more on there. And as I said in my video the other day on YouTube, we're not going to be going crazy and using every other word-based swear word or anything like that there. It's just with Rumble, it's a bit more, it's another big platform we're moving on to try and expand the Moore Army. And a lot of people have contacted me already saying, well, how do you get Rumble? Well, Rumble is a free app you can get on your phone. You can watch it on TV. You can watch it on your iPads. You can watch it on your computer via the website on there. It's free. It's like YouTube. It's exactly like YouTube. You just sign up to it and you can subscribe to us on there or follow us on there. It's free. And we pretty much are moving all our vlogs and stuff over there too as well. We're staying on YouTube as well, and we're going to post our videos on Facebook as well, guys. We're just trying to expand the Moore Army and try and get more eyeballs on the product, because again, as I said earlier on this podcast today about the shadow banning thing on YouTube, we're just trying to get our vlogs out there more and try and do more stuff and get us more out there. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're moving to different platforms, and the podcast here as well, you're listening to as well, will be available on Rumble too as well. But yeah, and people keep asking me all the time about this video podcast, guys. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to fit everything into my day. You know, trying to, run a house, work, do different things, go to different places, vlog, podcast, family stuff. You're just trying to do it all at once. It's difficult whenever you're on your own and you're trying to balance everything out at once. So just bear with me. Please, a lot of you are sort of going, where's this vlog? Where's this do this? Why is this not out for? Why? You got to give me time. I'm on my own. And I've got a guy who's trying to help me sort out the website as well. He's had to rebuild our whole Moore Army store, which we have currently on our website, moorearmy.co.uk, but we're bringing new stuff out. Oh, it's just one thing after another. So bear with me. But we are moving to Rumble. And when we do post our first video and stuff like that, and whenever we're finally posting stuff on there, we will let you know. But we'll have an account on there now, so get on there now and follow us on Rumble. So yeah, it's a decent platform. So it is. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go now. Sorry for it's been an emotional roller coaster today on the podcast. We've had a really high where we've been ranting and raving and talking and stuff, and then down to a bit of reality with that wonderful email we received today, and then it's just one of those days. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go here now. So we're back on Tuesday for another podcast. Hope you all have a great weekend. It's going to be a pretty busy weekend for me. Got a lot on this weekend, so it's going to be crazy. I did start recording a vlog yesterday, but I didn't get around to finishing it because when I come home last night, I had things to do. And then I was on the phone last night with your man Alex as well, talking to him on his channel or his live phone-in. And then there was just one of those days yesterday, guys. The only time I had time yesterday was an hour to myself to go out where I done a bit of vlogging, so I won't probably continue that vlogging today. But anyway, guys, yes, before I go today, have a great weekend. Don't forget to check out our friends FTBL Spot, as I said at the start of this podcast. Don't forget to check out our own website, moorarmy.co.uk. Give us an email over the weekend if you can, moorarmypodcast@yahoo.com. Stay tuned to social media platforms for photographs, vlogs, all the etc. stuff over the weekend. If you're listening to this podcast on YouTube, drop a like on it, subscribe below as well. I would appreciate it. And if you're listening to us on all the other platforms like Spotify, etc., please add us to your playlist and your favourites. I would appreciate it too as well. And also before I do go as well, I want to give a big shout out to my friend Mark, who's doing night shifts this week. He said he's catching up with the podcast. So Mark, if you're listening, what's happening, big fella? Hope you're not working too hard. I told him I'd give him a shout out. Mark, mate, thanks for listening to the podcast, mate. You're a star. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Hopefully you might see you this weekend, actually, down at the park. The live music is on at the park this weekend, depending on what the weather's like. Right, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I will see you back here on Tuesday for another episode of the Moor Army Podcast. Wow, what an episode. See you all soon, guys. Thanks for listening.